going on, Jerome's? Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell had some announcements, some starting, some activations, a lot of things going on Friday. So first off, Andrew Van Ginkel out against the Eagles this Sunday. Now he had been limited, past couple of practices, but being smart with the neck, but it's a good sign that he was actually able to get off the third field and do a little something with the defense. So it could be a good sign for Thursday. Also could be a good sign for in a couple weeks against the Detroit Lions week 9. Questionable, Tyler Batty, Blake Cashman outside. How about that? Now, Kevin O'Connell did announce that both of them are going to be added to the 53, which is fantastic. So Cashman's going to be up for the game on Sunday. It's going to be really good against Saquon and Jalen Hurts and company. The Vikings currently have 51 players on the 53, so no corresponding move will be needed to get them back on the rooster. TID, Juergens, both listed as questionable. Juergens also not going to start at center. We'll get to that. McCarthy listed as questionable with that ankle, but he will serve as emergency third quarterback, which we'll get to. And Brian, the real deal O'Neill, listed as questionable, but we'll see. Now, Carson Wentz is going to start on Sunday against the Eagles. Now, this is trending towards that direction where Wentz, shoulder's pretty banged up, a little sore, but he's a freaking warrior, man. Plus, he's been practicing in full all week. J.J. McCarthy is getting some limited reps. Dave Mizutani, my countryman, Pioneer Press. Carson Wentz will be the starter. Max Brosmer will be the backup. J.J. McCarthy listed as questionable and will be the emergency quarterback as he continues to work himself back to 100%. Now, a lot of people are running with this. Oh, this is obviously the soft benching right here. No, it's not. No, it is not. And it's not like Carson Wentz was named starter for the rest of the season. Nah, not going to be that situation. Now, it would be a different kettle of fish if McCarthy was 100% healthy, which he's not, and he was named quarterback 2. Right, so that would be a huge difference that we'll get to. But, of course, the Carson Wentz revenge game, it's on. It's on. Let's go, man. Like 400 yards, 4 touchdowns from Carson Wentz. It'll be great. Also, noteworthy, we are one play away from Quadzilla, baby. That's right. Max Brosmer, we're all stars now in the Bros show. It's going to be good. And J.J. McCarthy, the fact that he was even able to get back on the practice field this week is a good sign. And plus, it's been talked about, his high ankle sprain is his right foot. So that's his plant foot. That's the foot that controls drive, which leads to accuracy, which leads to mechanics and all that stuff. So it's understandable that the Vikings are taking this. I just want to take it nice and slow. Also, it probably means that he is not going to be returning on Thursday, short week against the Chargers. So if J.J. McCarthy returns as starter, probably looking at Detroit. Say Detroit, man, the Super Bowl. November 2nd. Oh, but Detroit's tough. Every game is tough. There's not going to be a perfect spot to start him. Although, him returning to Michigan, that would make sense, right? And Kevin O'Connell talked about J.J. McCarthy just getting back into the flow of things at practice. He got a ton of reps this week, both with the first group and also with getting some really good reps with the look team, feeling the rush of Grenard, Turner, Hargrave, Allen, and really work on some things that are starting to come to fruition. So this is a process. Plus, you don't want to throw the kid out cold, especially as the offensive line has a little bit of flux right now, and you do want to get him to 100%. Otherwise, there could be a setback. There could be a drop in form. There could be a drop in confidence. There could be a drop in everything. So this does make sense here. Also, since he is going to be serving as the third emergency quarterback, I feel like people are reading way too much into this, where essentially him as the third emergency quarterback is basically the same as him being a healthy scratch. So the current NFL rule allows the team to designate an emergency third quarterback who can only play if both the other 2 active quarterbacks are injured or disqualified, which, frankly, I would love to see Wentz and Brosmer just get thrown out of the game. That'd be funny, man. So he also doesn't count against the team's 47/48-man active roster. Now, you do get to have 48 players on the active roster if you have 8 offensive linemen, which the Vikings generally do. So he doesn't count against the game day tally, can't enter the game unless the top 2 quarterbacks are incapacitated. Since they made the rule change, I actually don't think any team has gone to the third quarterback. So basically, his chances of playing are very slim, and you have seen this before where a starter come back from injury. He's listed. Actually, you see this more often as he's listed as the actual backup. Now, did teams run with that and say that, oh, it's a bench? No. But if you're able to help the team in some capacity, which, if poop happened, McCarthy, not 100%, but, could be out there. But like I said, essentially it's basically same as him being scratched, right? So we'll see what happens. But fully in on the Carson Wentz revenge game. Let's go. Plus, just calling a spade, if and when Carson Wentz destroys the Eagles, and also if he plays a fantastic game against the Chargers, like there's a real chance JJ McCarthy doesn't start again. And I can't really blame on this, but because the Vikings are rolling at 5-2, have Carson Wentz is looking really damn good. And as we said, you start JJ McCarthy unless Carson Wentz gives you a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. And frankly, given the talent that is around this team, I mean, if Carson Wentz is playing lights out and you have a chance to win a Super Bowl, damn the torpedoes. Let's go, baby. That's right. But if not, roll with the kid. Come hell or high water, as we explained earlier this week. Also, this is good news. Ben Gessling Strib. Blake Brandel will start at center again for the Vikings on Sunday. Kevin O'Connell said no injury stats for Donovan Jackson. So the Vikings' only offensive line question for Sunday appears to be Brian O'Neill. And with O'Neill, Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt, Brian O'Neill, questionable right MCL, said his availability Sunday will be a game-time decision. I think he winked. If he plays, he'll need to wear a brace. Now, considering how bad that O'Neill injury looked against the Steelers, like he was down there like screaming in pain and stuff. You're like, the fact that he's questionable like less than a month later, it's amazing. We got really lucky there. But offensive line wise, Jurgens practiced in full all week, but he's listed as questionable. I think that he will be dressed. Well, obviously he's going to be wearing clothes, but I think he'll be on the game day 48. But Brandel starting at center, I think that's a really good indicator that Brian O'Neill will be starting at right tackle, because I think that if they're dedicated to getting their best five out there, if O'Neill was out, I think Brandel would have started at right tackle and Jurgens would have started at center. I think that's what happened. Unless it's, I don't see School or Rouse. Nah. But Darisaw, Jackson, Brandel, Fries, O'Neill, let's go. Let's freaking play, man. So fired up for the offensive line, starting to get back to good. And also, maybe center is Blake Brandel's true position. Who knows? Like maybe Darisaw, Jackson, Brandel, Fries, O'Neill actually is the first team offensive line, and Ryan Kelly, we almost called him R. Kelly, which, nah. But maybe it's the Brandel show. Who knows? And defensively, the fact that you're getting Cashman back, it's going to be night and day difference with this run defense. So can't wait to have Cashman outside. How about that? Back in the fold. Tyler Batty back in the mix as well. I feel like he's extremely underrated and also should help out against the run if he does get some defensive snaps. Either way, being a plus special teamer will be good as well. But the story is Carson Wentz starting. Everyone knew he was going to be starting, but the fact that McCarthy wasn't named quarterback too, the fact that he's been the emergency quarterback, it does track with what the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy have been saying. The ankle's not 100%. They're working their way back. I got some good work done this week. They'll get some more good work done next week. You got the mini bye, then we'll see the rest of the way, right? But Carson friggin' Wentz revenge game. Let's go. Let's go, man. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Startings, activations, all that stuff. Good times. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.